So what other instruments have you been using?
Okay, let me show you.
Let's go, let's go. Yeah.
Okay, so I use that one. It's a
Oh,
12 string.
what model is that?
It's an Ibanez actually,
Oh, sweet.
and it's a funny story behind it because my dad got that like in the 80s, and he got that from a radio like ad, like we didn't have internet back then, so it was like a woman just had to sell this guitar because she wanted to learn guitar, and the guy at the shop sold her this. I mean, it's not a good idea to start learning guitar on a 12 string.
I agree with that.
It's so hard to, you need a lot of muscles to be able to play it.
Yeah,
And
and
it's a pain to tune, of course, but the sound is amazing. So I have used that on a couple of recordings. And I think most prominently on the fourth Schnee track, the split with Trutk. Yeah, the beginning and also the like intro and outro of the song are recorded with this one. And my
that's
dad paid only like $80 for it, so it was a steal. It's a really
yeah.
nice guitar.
Yeah, because I don't think I've ever seen a 12 string going for that cheap, and especially like an
No.
80s Ibanez as well. And it's interesting because the Ibanez acoustics I've played, I think I've preferred the neck feel compared to like the Ibanez RGs, especially. I don't
Okay.
know. And even the Ibanez basses as well, I find them more comfortable than like the regular Ibanez.
Okay. I also use this one, a lute,
Oh, epic.
but it's tuned like a guitar. So I can play it like a normal guitar. So it's not like a real medieval lute, it's kind of like more a modern version of it. But I got that for free. I was like, yeah, sure, I take it. And I've also used that on several albums. It has a very warm tone to it, so it's different than a guitar from the tone. And I used that on the same title, Paysage. I've used that one. It has like in the first song, it has like this interlude with acoustic guitar. It's basically recorded with the lute. It's not a guitar, the lute.
Oh, sweet, yeah.
So yeah, little detail.
I don't even know what lutes are normally tuned to.
Well, they have more strings, and I have no idea how they're tuned, actually. No, me neither.
Yeah,
But
that's
I know a guy who plays like real medieval lutes, so I should ask him once. Yeah,
yeah. And
interesting.
is that tuned to C sharp as well?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
cool. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and then of course I also have a bass. So this is like self-designed.
Yeah.
That was my first electric instrument I bought. It used to be or well, still is a Horner bass, and it was like it had this like huge body, and it was ugly, like hell.
Right.
And so I decided, well, why not? I mean, it's quite big, so I have quite a lot of space to actually form something different. And so I did my own design to it. And
Cool.
I put in EMGs. And so, as you can see, I still don't have like any space for the battery. I still have to make something. But yeah, I use that one on all recordings. And it's actually sounds quite fine now with the EMGs.
So when did you change the body shape and how did you do it? Did you like do you have your own like your saw and just like hacked it yourself or did you use someone's machine? Like how did you go about it?
No, I did it at school because we had quite a lot of woodwork machinery there. So I was able to just, it's like a saw. It's like a band saw, It's
Yeah.
like a band on two wheels, and so it was quite simple to make the form, the basic form, and then it's just a lot of handwork, yeah, with sanding and stuff, make it smooth.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
how long did it take you to do it?
Oh, actually, that one, maybe 2 weeks. I mean, not every day work, but it's went pretty quick actually. I mean, I also made a whole base by myself back then. This one.
Oh, that looks cool.
And this is actually the design is a copy. This this bass exists. I don't even remember what brand it was, honestly. Um, but yeah, it's actually a funny story because I've never ever seen anyone playing this bass. And we played in Oslo last weekend, and Toulouse was playing before us. The bassist has exactly the original bass I took the design from. It was
Oh,
just really funny to see, like, oh, I know that bass. But it's really cool and everything, but I made the neck a bit too thin, and it can't withhold the pull from the strings, so it always bends. So I have to see if I can have it reinforced in the neck or something. Because yeah, I made that like 20 years ago and was never really able to use it because of that.
oh
And that
wow.
was a bit frustrating because yeah, otherwise it's all perfect, but just because of that I can't use it. So yeah.
Ah, and that's
And
even with trying very thin bass strings, right?
yeah, well, mm, didn't help that much.
Oh, that's such a
A little
shame.
bit short, but it's just I mean now it's just tuned really low, then it's okay-ish. You can play it, but if you like tune it on yeah, C flat, it's
Yeah,
just too much of force.
I see.
And it just bends through. And then you have like the strings. The gap is so big, you can't really play it. And another instrument I used was this one, a
Oh, recorder.
flute.
Oh, yeah.
I used that on one song on Winterkälte. It's my sister's, and that's the instrument she learned when she was a kid. And at some point, she was like, I don't play it anymore. Do you want to have it? And I was like, sure. But I can't really play it, It's just for that one song. I just figured out the melody and then recorded it.
That's amazing. So let's get it right. So you do vocals, you do guitar, you do bass, you do violin, you do recorder. Are there any other instruments that you've done and played and recorded?
Uh, well, drums, yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Keyboards. I mean, I don't really play piano, but I mean, just like the basics, I do know. I still have also, these instruments just like come to me. I don't know. I don't buy them. They just want to be at my place or want to be played by me or something. I don't know. And I also have let me show you. But I haven't played it yet. So I still have to figure out the basics at least. You know what that is?
That I know of it, but I've forgotten its name. That must be a type of harp.
It is?
All right, that's cool. Because I was thinking it was similar to like the guzheng or a koto.
Well, all the Finnish people, of course, will know what that is, this instrument, because it's the national, well, yeah, national instrument of Finland, and it's called kantele.
I don't think I'll be able to pronounce that.
No, it's really simple. Kantele.
Kantele. There we go.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
okay, cool. Not bad. Yeah, Kantele. No, that's really neat. I've always wanted to play one of those big big
Yeah.
parts because it was I think it must have been because of like Tom and Jerry or something when I was a kid.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was, but it's just like they were like playing the harp or something, or like Looney Tunes. It was a cartoon
Yeah.
from my childhood. I've just always wanted to like play harps and stuff like that. So the kantele,
Hmm.
is that going to be featured on any future Paysage Divé?
It's planned too, yeah. But I have to see if I find the time and actually can figure out how to play something nice with it. And so because this is totally, you know, new to me, I have never played something like that before.
Another thing that's popped up since our last call is the announcement of Darkspace -2.
Yes.
Yes, and I have pre-ordered it. I have
Nice.
pre-ordered it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to ask a little bit about the general writing and creative process when it came to -2, because how many tracks are going to be on there?
Fun.
Just one.
It's just one track, yeah.
Oh, epic. And is it that 47-minute one?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, sweet. And then Dark Space 5. So since our last call, how much development is there on Dark Space 5?
Oh, since then, none so far, or not that much, no. Because yeah, we just played in Oslo, so before that we weren't able to do anything for the album.
And how was the show in Oslo?
A bit chaotic, I would say. Yeah, was not the easiest circumstances. Also, flying the equipment is always, yeah, a hassle, I would say, because there are always some screws loosened, and this time, like one of our cases was open, it opened up. So the hard drive was missing for our, drums and stuff. Luckily, we had the second one with us, backup, and also the antenna for the in-ear metronome was missing. So on stage, I'm the furthest away from this unit, so I always had like these gaps, you know, in the metronome, and we also use gaps as like a marker, so we know when to change riffs and stuff. And so yeah, that was a bit confusing. To be very concentrated on stage to be able to follow the song.
That
And we
sounds
were only able to play Dark Space -2. We would have loved to play like the long set with Dark 16 and Dark 10 as well. But yeah, it is as it is, and yeah, no, I think we made the best out of it, and we're quite happy with the result.
no, that's great. And because that would just sound like to me like one of my worst nightmares of like everything just little things just going wrong and not knowing what's going to happen on stage. There was a video on YouTube from the show and I watched it and it was just like, yes, it did work out.
I
It did
think
work.
so, yeah.
And how long did it take to write -2?
Um, it started out with just this ambient track with uh this techno kick and distorted snare I did, which was actually more like, well, not background music, but the music was added to like a speech, also female speech. It was a different speech we are using now on the album, but that's basically how it started, and it was just a playing around because I was just wondering if I could do like a soundtrack to this speech, and it was lying around because I didn't really have any use for it. So when it when we were about to write new material, I was listen, guys, I have this old material, ambient stuff, electronic stuff, which I would love to try out with guitars if it would work, actually. And so that's how it started, yeah. And then I just tried out guitar stuff and showed it to the other guys, and they were like, hell yeah, it works and it's super cool. Let's do it. So it went pretty quick, actually, from when we started to record guitars, or I started to try out how it sounds with guitars. It was pretty quick. The recording process was longer than the writing process.
See, I see. And why is it that some Dark Space albums are minus albums?
-1 was basically our demo,
Yeah.
and we never really released it. So we recorded Dark Space 1, and I think it was even maybe after Darkspace 2, I don't remember correctly. We were like, yeah, what do we do with this minus or with this demo recordings with these two songs? Because it's a pity just to just not have them released, but it's not really a proper album. So what do we do with it? And so we decided to do this like -1 because it's not really a proper album. And now, with the changes within the band, we felt that it is like a new beginning for the band. And so we came up with the idea of this -2. So it's like a follow-up to -1, basically.
Cool, sounds good. And when it came to finding Is, the new member, what was the
Mhm.
process?
Hmm. Good question. Um, we saw pretty quickly that it was very difficult to find a bassist. It's just not the most played instrument in the metal scene, I would say. So I don't know. We just had gave word around. We didn't. Well, we did try an ad, but not like as Darkspace, more like anonymously, just like metal band seeks for bassists, something like that. But no, it just like with our contacts, just friends and stuff. We said we were looking for a bassist, and yeah, we had like three guys and tried them out, and with ease it just yeah I mean the chemistry was already there before he even played the instrument. I was like, yeah, that's the guy, you know. And the funny thing is that his parents are actually neighbors to Saral. So they almost like grew up as neighbors and never met before. You know, it's just like small world. Funny story. But yeah, he's great. I mean, he's actually a guitarist, so it's not bass is not his main instrument, but he's professional musician, so he knows how to play.
For sure, yeah, yeah. Like the guy, I can just tell. Like when as soon as I saw him play, it's like, yep, this guy knows his stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's perfect. Yeah, because sometimes for most bands, when they try to find a bass player, it's really just like a guitarist being like, all right, I'll play bass.
Yeah, it's often the case, yeah.
Yeah, and that was going to be like my next question, but it's already been answered. It was going to be, for Darkspace, what's the idea to find a purpose-built bass player, like a practiced and seasoned, specifically bass player. But it seems like East can do guitar and bass and a lot more in terms of sound, like what you were saying before in the first call, how we're just able to create like all these soundscapes and stuff. And I'm just so looking forward to hearing Darkspace 5 because
Yeah, it will take a while.
yeah, and but that's okay because I think it's good when musicians and bands take their time, especially with the music, because then because like if we think about it, so say for example, band A releases an album in 2023 and one in 2024.
Yeah.
There's not going to be that much time or development to really hone every single song. Um, Maybe it might, but in most situations, if like a band is releasing an album very, very quickly, then each album becomes less kind of important in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes.
Not necessarily, but I know I get what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, I
Um,
guess importance is the wrong word. It's like
there are quite some bands that in my opinion have releases too close to each other.
hmm.
And because of that, first of all, I'm still like discovering the older album, and then they already come with a new album, so it's for me it's too quick to even be able to get into the new one. And often it is like it lacks a bit of like yeah, just development time, to ripe.
Yeah.
But like with Paysage, the first couple of recordings I did like in well, sometimes I even made two albums in 1 year, or demos, or whatever you want to call it. But back then I didn't do anything else. besides of that, I mean, yeah, I had to work and stuff, but other than that, I was just always just, recording, and I was trying out quite different stuff. So they really differ from each other. It's not the same thing at all. It worked there, but it's a pace I couldn't uphold. It's just not possible to do that forever. That's
Hmm.
so I think it can work if you just stay in your typical kind of scheme. Then I think it's difficult to do something substantially good with the short time period. But if you like do something more experimental on one album, for instance, I think it can work.
I think so as well, and that's a really, really interesting point that you raised up. Even when writing, sometimes I don't know that there are creative bursts when you
Hmm.
just have a guitar in your hand, and for some reason the riffs and the songs just fly out, and you've got like a few songs in a very, very short period of time. But it's these days it's not very rare. I mean, it depends. Like I don't know. For me, it's like I don't want to rush things, especially when it comes to like
Yeah.
music and
Mm.
making songs, because I don't think it suits the song, and I don't think it suits the final end result if things are rushed.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it happens that things just flow so well. It's like bang, and you have a song. It was like, how did that happen? You know? But sometimes it just takes a long time, and there are songs that they just take forever. They just don't want to be finished somehow. I had one of these songs on Invalid. That was like an old recording from like maybe 2001, and it just never got finished. And at some point, I just took it and I was like, "What? I should finish that song at some point." And on Invalid, it just fitted perfectly. It just really waited that long for being on that album. I almost changed nothing. I added like an acoustic guitar, I think, or maybe like a melody, and that was basically it. Even the recording itself was from back in the time, so didn't really have to change much. Add vocals, it didn't have any vocals yet. Drums were reprogrammed, and that was it basically. So yeah, it's just you can never tell.
Hmm.
I think most important is that you play. And before I even made the first album, I had like at least three 90 minutes tapes full of riffs that I recorded, just as an idea, as a like library of ideas. And I still use riffs from there at times. Or just listen to it and just press play, and the first couple of tones inspire me for a riff or something like that. So it's a real treasure trove. I can very much recommend to do that. Just record your stuff, even if it's just one riff, doesn't matter. You never know when you can use it.
Awesome, because that whilst you were talking, I was just going to ask the question: do you record your riffs and then come back to them later? But of course you do, and
Yes.
I think that's even now. I think that's a really, really good idea, because sometimes, because it's two ways of thinking. Because my personal way of thinking is if I forget a riff, then it's not good enough. But at the same time, if I listen back to a riff and it just works,
Hmm.
then I shouldn't have forgot it, and then it was my mistake. You
Yeah, and sometimes it's like not too interesting riffs are perfect somewhere in a song.
Hmm.
Just like as in the composition, it makes sense to be there. So you never know. And also sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. I have to record it. And oh, this is quite okay too. Just record it. And like a couple of days later, I'm like, oh, actually, the riff I thought was the cooler one is actually not that good, but the other one is really interesting. So my perception shifts at times.
Hmm.
So it's always good to record.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like there's never a bad riff. It's just a case of it entirely depends on the context and the purpose. And
Yes.
also it also depends on the overall arrangement as well, because
Hmm.
if you've got like a super, super technical riff, say something like then a riff like that is sometimes it works for vocals and like the more kind of tech death stuff. And then, but then at the same time, if it's one of those things that you're trying to play and can't sing along, then it becomes a bit messy. And then sometimes it's better if you just have a bit more of a boring riff
Yeah.
for the vocals.
Yeah, exactly.
And not even just I say boring, but like a simplified riff, just so something that just
Yeah.
works and gives the vocals a bit more space as
Yeah.
well. Because it's all about it's an interesting thing when it comes to songwriting and composition because it's a kind of push-pull
Hmm.
for everything. It's like sometimes an overcomplicated bass part can work really well over a very, very simple guitar part.
Exactly. Hmm.
And a very, very complicated drum part can work over simple guitar parts as well. But then even something like on a guitar part, if you've got like a crazy riff, but you've got like some kind of stabs going on, that's quite like a death metal writing technique. So like a
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and then work it like that. And I think that's something that people can really, really think about with when it comes to their songwriting because
Hmm.
more is more sometimes, but less of one thing is more of the other, which then somehow gives more of the overall kind of impact.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially with Paysage, it's it's well, I don't want to overdo it, but it's definitely about simplicity. Just keep it as simple as possible, just like really, really reduced to the max. That's like kind of the one of the goals I have with it. It's not about technicality or anything, it's just really about atmosphere and emotions basically. And so yeah, that's something that just totally fascinates me, if you just have like this magic melody that you could just play forever and totally drift with it. That's what I like. Darkspace is a bit different, but still, of course, it has the psychedelic element to it,
Of
which
course.
is repetition. Definitely is a part of being psychedelic in music, in my opinion.
Mm,
Repetitiveness.
yeah. It kind of yeah, it's like how we are talking before, like the hypnotism in
Yes.
writing and just going on
Mm.
and on and on. Because I was listening to the most recent Paysage Dive album on the drive home today, and it was this one song. I think it was Alt, where there was just this one riff that just kept on repeating, but all of the notes kind of just hit. It was
That's actually the song I was talking about.
oh the one from 2001.
Yeah, this old one. That's why it's called Alt, because Alt means old in German.
Oh, amazing!
So
Yeah,
it's the perfect title for this song, right?
and it's just really really cool. It's just I was listening to it and I'm just like, damn! It's just yeah, it something about the way you write just makes me very happy. Something about the way you create music just makes me very, very happy because
Mhm.
it's just so easy to relax into it. It's just like you're
Mhm.
taken somewhere, and it's just exactly like how you want the music to go and how it's pictured. And I think it's great. You know, good for driving as well. Like
Mhm.
even even like driving late at night, just listening to Darkspace, especially if you're on just the motorway and you're just driving and driving long, long journeys. You just kind of like it's like your car becomes the spaceship.
Yeah, exactly.
And no, it's great. And that was going to be another question that I wanted to ask you. Where do you listen to music most? And is it through like car speakers? Is it vinyl CDs, MP3, phone? What is it nowadays?
Um, Mostly in the living room because that's where I have the vinyl player and the nice speakers and yeah, mostly vinyl, I would say. But that has always been like that. That's not nothing new to me. So yeah, I'll still have some CDs, but I like never buy CDs nowadays. If I buy something, I'll get it on vinyl, if possible. So yeah, I think the last CD I bought was like maybe 10 or 15 years ago or something. Other than that, always vinyl. Most of the stuff is available on vinyl, so it's fine. So I'll listen to MP3s, but not that much.
I see. Do you remember what the CD you got was?
Yes, it was Apoptose, German ambient Apoptose.
Okay,
A couple of CDs, and yeah, it's really nice. You should listen to it.
when something is organic,
Mm-hmm.
people can appreciate that kind of writing and that kind of style a lot more because in some ways it's more familiar to
Mm-hmm.
listen to that kind of stuff. Because, for example, like let's take this example, okay? So I absolutely love the guitar sounds on a software I'm using. So I'm currently using Neural DSP's Gojira plugin on my
Mm-hmm.
laptop. Okay, I use that for most of my short videos for like when I'm filming for like TikToks and short videos on YouTube. But for most of the time, I like listening to the sound of the actual amps because the sound from Gojira is like way too perfect. It's like they've got like the right mic. It's like they've had many, many hundreds of pounds or maybe thousands of pounds worth of equipment to make something sound as good as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great. But at the same and I guess it's really, really good for home recordings and the way the modern guitarist is writing now. But I think people are becoming slightly more disappointed by the sound of real amps and real equipment because it's kind of like people are getting too used to synthetic sounds. The synthetic sounds are good. There's nothing wrong with them.
No.
In some ways it's I don't want to say it's jading the ears of the listener, but there's a different kind of sound that you get from digital equipment versus anything that's truly analog.
Mm.
Um, and I think vinyl versus CD is a very, very good example of this as well, because I don't know how or why, but I first of all I hardly ever listen to vinyls, but I was at a friend's house the other day, and we were listening to a Rebel Extravaganza by
Mm-hmm.
Satyricon. Great album. And every time I'm listening to it off Spotify or in the car or on YouTube or whatever, like it's fine. But then when you listen to Rebel Extravaganza on vinyl, it's like you get a whole nother layer of sound. But I can't put my finger on what that sound is, except the vinyl sound.
Yeah.
There's a richness to it, and I think that's what a lot of things in modern production and sound these days is like this kind of rich, organic, almost natural sort of sound.
Yeah.
After speaking to Nocturnal Culto, watching like interviews from Fenriz as well, he was saying like, Fenriz was saying, the best drum sounds come from like the 70s because that's what the drums actually sound like, and that's why in their albums and everything they shift completely away from all the kind of modern sounds as well.
Yeah.
And I think we need a bit more of that now. I think everyone's trying to make things kind of too perfect. And
Mm.
I think it's good to have like this level of a more human quality to music now, especially
Yes.
because it's there in writing, but I think it's being lost more and more in production because it's kind of like I think people are overthinking things sometimes. I don't know what it is. What do you think it could be? I don't know. What's your thoughts on all this?
Well, I mean, you have much better possibilities, for much less money with all the digital. But that's one part. It gotten so much easier than like with in analog times, and thus a lot cheaper. I
Hmm.
mean, we always record our stuff by ourselves. We never have been to a studio except for the re-recording of Darkspace -1. But we were in the studio only for mixing, for the mixing process, which was a totally good decision in my opinion. So we're happy about these possibilities. But the reason why we did this was also because we wanted to take our time and don't have to rush things in a studio. And we wanted to have a distinctive sound. and not just a sound like other bands have or any other band has. So I don't know. It's also got a lot to do with knowledge we have nowadays. It's known where in what frequencies whatever snare sound has to be or should be. Where it sounds best. It Same thing goes with guitars, with amps, with everything. So I think it's a mix of these two things: the possibilities that came through the digitalization of recording and also the knowledge, you know. But in the end, it's also a matter of what you choose. I mean, okay, you can have it like in like perfect, in production and everything, or you can have it your own way with like a little imperfection that makes it individual. I think for a really distinctive sound, it has to have a little bit of imperfection, at least a little bit of imperfection to it to be individual. I think that if you have like this perfect mix, for example, and if you just move a little bit like over there or a little bit over there, or make it like peak out here, uh, yeah, that's my sound. I think that helps.
Hmm.
And also experimentation. I mean, you can also experiment a lot with effects, with pedal boards or stuff like that, and to do something different.
Yeah.
I think it's also a matter of imagination, I guess, you know, of being creative. So instead of trying to find the perfect sound, um, how's about trying to find your personal unique sound?
Yeah, I think that's really, really important as well. Here's a prime example. Okay, I'm going to use myself as an example. Okay, so one of my favorite guitar tones ever is 1349's Revelation of the Black Flame, a guitar
Hmm.
tone. Just the way the amp sounds. I think it was like a modded JCM 800, and it's just huge. Like the guitar
Hmm.
sound is huge, and I've always kind of wanted it. And I spent a long time trying to get close, but then I realized, is this really me?
Yeah.
Really what I want? And then and that's kind of like the, I guess, the philosophical part of creativity, where it's like, is this really me? Is this what I want to create, or am I just trying to be, a pastiche or just an imitation of what 1349 is? That case of exactly what you're saying is like trying to be more unique and more yourself. And going to what you were saying about recording Darkspace as well. So what was the recording process for -2? Was it recorded in the band room on
Yes.
okay, okay. So it was literally just like, okay, bring a laptop in, set the interface up, mic the cabs in a certain way, and just track everything like that.
Well, it's not a laptop. It's like
Uh-huh.
a big tower
Oh, I
computer,
see.
and we have a 24 channel mixing console hooked up to it through FireWire, and yeah, with that we basically recorded all the stuff. Um, so yeah, from me, my guitars, I always use two tracks directly from my preamp, the effects unit I've shown you,
Mm.
and then also mic'd channels. Yeah, I have like oh, it's already a while ago we recorded that thing, so I think it's 6 tracks, just my guitars. So yeah, it's always basically like 3 tracks, but always two tracks as to have like a stereo effect. And with Sodal, I think it's about the same. Yeah, and 2 bass tracks. So it adds up quite a bit with all the ambient and synthesizer tracks and samples and stuff, it's almost added to 100 tracks in the end.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot
Quite
of.
a lot to handle. But you have tracks where you just have like one sound on it, But I mean, if you're not limited in tracks, then just keep it on one track, even if it's just one small sound. Yeah. We also had a recording session for the overheads with a real drum, and that was well worth it. We have really nice overhead samples now, and we have also used these on the Darkspace -2. So that was a lot of work, but it paid off, definitely. And yeah, what else can I say? I mean, it's always experimenting with different amps, with different cabs, with different microphones, with different microphone combinations, with different microphone positionings, So it's endless. Yeah, but I think we did very well. Also, thanks to Ease and his knowledge, he brought in some new ideas that we used, and that was very helpful. Helped us a lot, especially with the elite guitars. That was really cool. Yeah. Um, yeah, that's about it.
So you used your preamp system, and
Mhm.
was that plugged straight into the mixing board, or did that go through your Mesa Boogie, which was then mic'd up via cabs, or?
Both. So first tracks I record are always directly from the Zoom, and but not like you can also set it to stereo, which I use for live. But for recording, I always record two tracks mono after the other and make that as like the stereo track. Sounds best in my opinion. But yeah, you know, that's my way of doing it.
Gotcha.
There's are different possibilities, of course. And then I have the same thing mic'd with the Mesabuki. And I have also two tracks through the JCM with like one single, like a single 12-inch Marshall cab. And this you can't really hear it. What it does, it gives like more depth to the sound. It is like it has a bit more room, space, which is of course a great thing for dark space. That's why I used them.
And I guess that's why the Darkspace live tone is so heavy, is because you've got this Zoom preamp set to stereo. So
Yeah.
how does it? So with this, with the sound engineers, how much time do you guys need to sound check? Because it seems like most of your stuff is pretty much plug and play, but it's a case of how do you like what do you have to communicate to the sound guy to get this kind of like huge sound? Um,
Well, we have our own sound guy,
mhm.
so that helps a lot. He knows our music. He knows the instruments and everything. So that helps a lot for sure. But well, it really depends. I mean, if the venues, the people there, if they read our tech rider correctly and are prepared well, we are actually pretty quick with setting everything up. And we don't always have a time for like a real mix. So sometimes we just have to plug in and play. So it was also like that in Oslo. We didn't really have time for a sound check because we also flew in on Friday, had to play on Friday. So there was no time for a sound check. And that's always a bit difficult, of course. So it's we still have like a line check song um, on our hard disk. So we definitely need to do that just in order to be sure everything works. Um, so yeah, the toughest was probably on Hellfest. We had like only 15 to 20 minutes changeover time. So that was pretty tough, but it worked. And yeah, we have pretty much everything set up already. so it should be simple enough to, yeah, we just try to keep it as simple as possible with all our gear, you know. It's not the usual stuff because we don't have drum and stuff, and my guitar life is also directly out through a DI, no microphones or anything, so it's all a bit different, but
Hmm.
it works usually
Yeah,
fine.
because because I was in the audience and I was thinking like, God, I can't remember what amp it was behind you. I think it might have been a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier behind you at Cosmic Void.
Yeah.
Thought you
I
were running through that, and you just had like this crazy pedal setup, and you just managed to make this sound like a fucking chaos storm, demonic, chunky demon thing. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. I thought you were using that, but I didn't realize you were going like straight line in. Like that's cool.
Yeah,
Getting
it's
that sound.
always you know, when we fly, I can't take my amp with me, so I only have the preamp, and I go directly to the return.
I see.
So
And
I don't use the preamp from the amp. I only use, like, you know, the amp.
in your perspective, what is the perfect dark space show? Like, what would be the location? Um,
Oh.
where would it be around the world? And and what kind of audience? What kind of stage? What kind of location? Just what would be like your most perfect show? Like proper
Um,
bucket list.
oh, difficult question. I don't know. I would have to talk about it with the other guys. Nothing I can really answer right now, I'm afraid.
Hmm.
Um, well, you know, we definitely would like to play places we haven't played before. You know, that's definitely one thing. So, I mean, we have played in the Netherlands, for instance, quite often. Just happened that way, you know, it wasn't planned that way. And so we're like, yeah, okay, maybe it's good enough for a while. Just, you know, we have never played in Spain or Portugal, for instance, you know, or Greece. Um, Countries like that would be interesting, definitely. But like from the venue, um, you know, it's we don't have like a specific okay, this is like the best venue ever. We like small concerts. We like large halls. Can work at both. Um, they have both pros and cons. I can't really tell you honestly.
When it comes to your shows, are there any bands that you would really like to gig with? Like just in general, just like as a general thing, like what bands would you like to play with?
Well, I think what would go well together is Darkspace and Mysticum, for instance. But we definitely also like to have, like, you know, different genres mixed together. So not just like 10 black metal bands at one evening, but you have like whatever. It can't be metal all or so, but it's just like different styles, different bands, more uniqueness to it instead of 10 bands playing the same thing, you know, it's just gets boring. So yeah, we really like that kind of stuff. And maybe also more like open towards, you know, all of the artistic world, you know, to combine different arts, different kind of music or oral arts, you know, things like that. You know, we played a show in Innsbruck in Austria, and it was pretty small club, nothing big, but very intimate from that side. It was really nice, and they combined it with watching Alien, the first Alien movie in the cinema first, and then Darkspace concert. So that was very appealing to us, for instance. Things like that, you know. Or yeah, the others. It was more like the combination of bands, you know. Also bands like we like ourselves and things like that. It's difficult to say, it's how dedicated people are. That's definitely one of the reasons, yeah, too.
Hmm. Sure, yeah, that's awesome. When I first got into Darkspace, it was around 2013, and then there was there wasn't any Darkspace shows for a while, or nothing that I saw that was on my radar until like I think it was 2016, 2017, something like that. And then
Mhm.
Darkspace started popping up more regularly on festivals around the world. So is it more now that you guys have decided, okay, let's try and show Darkspace in the live show, or is it just the kind of thing where you didn't want to gig before? Or am I just being completely dumb and not paying attention to Darkspace shows? Oh, so
No, we haven't played that many shows in our career. Um, that's for sure. But it's mostly because it's just difficult to find time for it. There's no like reason to make Dark Space rare on stage or something like that. It's if we record or if we write and record an album, we don't really have time or the resources to play live, so we just concentrate on that, and then we can play a couple of shows. But then we also would like to continue, writing music. I mean, for me personally, at least, this is still like the most important part. Um, I don't know. I don't really know if it really got more or stayed the same over the years. I have the feeling it stayed the same, but I might be wrong. Maybe we played more recently than we used to. I'm not sure.
I remember like I was trying to find Darkspace live videos, and for ages there was only the one that you guys did at Hellfest.
Yeah. Well,
And
there are others from like CD release concert in Bern for Dark Space 2, no, 3, I think. Yeah, Dark Space 3. That's pretty old actually.
okay, I
So,
might I might have come across with that. It's been a long time, but I definitely remember there were more Darkspace videos on YouTube popping up during and around the release time of Darkspace 4.
yes, maybe it's also because more people had, mobile phones able to actually record that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and that's another thing that I was thinking about as well. Like with the rise of technology and everything,
Yes.
and I well from a fan's perspective, I think it's great because I'm one of those geeks that tries to work out exactly what the bands are playing by watching them live.
Okay. Mm.
I'm one of those guys. And that, do you know what? I was actually having a conversation with someone about this. And how would you feel if there was a official Darkspace tab book or a Paysage Dev tab book?
It's fine. I
Okay.
don't know if anyone is interested in that, but sure, go ahead. I mean,
Yeah. Because all right, cool. Because I'm the kind of guy that would be like, I would actually try that. And actually one of my friends, like we've began to start tabbing more songs for YouTube, and we do like some covers, and we're planning more and more covers now and stuff. And we just had this idea like, hey, what if there was a X band tab book? So no, that's really cool. I'm really happy actually. Because I might even just end up doing some Darkspace and Paysage Dive out covers in full on the channel. It's an idea I've been toying
okay,
with, but
sure.
also
Oh,
I would
really?
like to, and I would like to, I would actually like to try and do a collaborative cover, doing a Darkspace song, but seeing if there's a drummer who would be up for playing Darkspace songs on a real drums.
Okay, yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. And yeah, it's just ideas I've been toying with. Maybe that could be something I can start in 2024.
This one you were talking about?
That is, yes.
Okay,
That's the
so
one I was
there's
talking.
actually two.
Oh, sweet. So these are all your drawings.
So these are photographs,
Okay, gotcha.
and that was taken in Norway actually. In I think it was the summer of either 1998 or 99. I'm not quite sure. And that was taken in a small town between um, Bergen and Oslo, and it's called Finse. Of course, all Norwegian people know exactly what I'm talking about. And I was just talking to a really nice guy in Oslo about Finse, and he said they also filmed some of the scenes for Lord of the Rings there. I didn't know about that. And it's a really it's a huge glacier nearby. And we were there in summer. It's about little bit more than, I think it's like 1,100 meters above sea level. So it's not that high, but as you can see, it's a snow field, and it was snowing like that when we were there in summer. So it's quite a rough place. And yeah, that's where these pictures were taken. And it's actually with corpse paint and everything. So quite dedicated back.
Yeah. And what about Crystal and Isa?
That's Swiss Alps and yeah,
Sweet.
canton of Graubünden. I was taken there. It's uh a valley that goes up to a small village which is called Youth, Avers Youth. It's the highest place in whole of Europe that where people live the whole year. You know, we have higher places, but they're abandoned in winter, but people live there throughout the whole year. And it's above the, tree level, so no trees, quite high up. And this picture was taken in that valley. It's quite a raw and untouched valley. It's just a road going up. Other than that, you have like yeah, like a river going down, a stream going down, really wild, and mountains and forests. Yeah.
Sounds epic. And did you hike up there to get the photo?
Um,
Or was it just your
actually,
flag holiday or something?
um, yeah, we were there at the cottage from my family in Andeer, and my dad went up there to ski. They have like a small ski lift up there, and I was like, "Yeah, take me with you, and just drop me somewhere, and I'll walk down." And that's what I did. So I didn't hike up; I hiked down. Had a video camera with me and like two photo cameras, and I just took pictures and filmed. So for the video I made for Schnee 2, that's also all from that session, the whole material.
Awesome. That's so cool. And do you think you'll be doing more Paysage TV music videos in this kind of fashion, in like wintry landscapes and
Nah, probably not. No, I don't think so. Maybe never say never, but I just wanted to do that, and back in the time I never really found the time and didn't really have the equipment. And at some point I was like, okay, let's do it. And so finally I was able to do it, even though it was like 15 or 20 years later than anticipated, but who cares? I mean, the raw material is all VHS recordings, which is pretty cool. So raw.
yeah, for sure. And when it comes to, well, if you're going to make a music video for a Darkspace song, how would you want it to be?
Um,
What would you want in there?
Animated, that's for sure. Other than that, it doesn't really make much sense in our opinion.
Hmm.
We're working on it, so maybe there will be something at some point. We'll see.
Okay, cool. I'm not gonna. You know what? I'm not gonna press anymore because I'd rather be surprised with the final result
Yeah.
with the well the official Dark Space music video and going over some of the other album ops like Geister, the one
Mhm.
with like the mask. Was that
Mhm.
one of your paintings as well?
No, that's a photograph.
I see.
I took that from newspaper actually. So it was like really raw, you know, and just worked on it. digitally to have it a bit smoothened out and stuff, but still like have that really raw character because I think it just fits perfectly to these masks. Yeah.
Sure. And do you know what the mask is of, or who that figure is?
Well, it's a mask cult in one valley in the Swiss Alps in Canton Wallis. It's called Lötschental, and they have this mask cult. They have similar mask cults also in Norway and Austria, and seems to be Germanic specific because it's a valley that was like really remote and you were almost not able to get there before you had like cars and roads. So it's like really preserved that old mask cult.
That's fascinating. I had no idea
It
that
is.
these existed. I had no
Dark
idea that
stuff.
these mask cult exists. So these are people. Is it like day to day they live their lives with masks on, or
No, it's just one time in the year. So
oh, I see, I see. Okay, so for festivals and or whatever celebratory,
well,
uh,
they have one part for the tourists, and the other part really they still keep for themselves. No tourists allowed, which is pretty cool. So they really try to well, they at one hand have to open up because there's interest from outside, so you have this touristic part of it, but they still really try to preserve the essence of it, which is pretty cool, I think.
and
Yeah.
do you know what occasion it is that they wear the masks? As like, what does it symbolize, and any story behind it?
Um, well, that's hmm. For me, it's I combine that with what we know about the Norwegian Åskoreien. I don't know if you have heard about that mask cult. Just really interesting because it has a lot of similarities with black metal. You have like they were always making a lot of noise, and it's the same thing with these Räuchjacketa in Lötschental here in Switzerland. They also make a lot of noise with cowbells and stuff, and it's really raw. They were actually having like swine blood with them. They would throw at people or like ash, stuff like that. So it was quite nasty too and wild. So it has to do something with the wild hunt, pretty sure. So it's all teeth and stuff basically. It's not much of that preserved here in Switzerland, but you can compare it to these other mass cults that are around, where it is a bit more um preserved, like the knowledge, what it's really about. So it's a bit like, yeah, I'm sure it's like some heathen stuff, but maybe other people in Switzerland would disagree. I'm not sure.
No, I've never heard about this before. It's like when it comes to like extreme historical groups, the only one that I've kind of known about are the Aghoris in India, and these are the
Mhm.
people who, they cover themselves in ash and they think like everything is part of God, and they that it makes no difference to them if they eat, I don't know, a real chicken as opposed to like a skull, for example. Like there's
Yeah.
actually like a few videos on YouTube of some people actually taking human skulls and actually biting them and eating like the teeth, like actual
Okay.
teeth, and eating them and all this kind of stuff. And they eat like rotting flesh and stuff like that. It's a very, very extreme part of Hinduism that I'm
Yeah.
honestly not too familiar with myself. But it's the kind of like everything is part of God, so everything is holy, so even the dead stuff is like holy. I think that's part
Yeah.
of the philosophy
Mhm.
behind it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's brutal. It's really, really brutal. Like there's like I remember watching this one video of a journalist who actually goes to see some Agori priests and stuff, and he gave him there was a skull. The priest was holding the skull, and inside was like a pit, like a it looked like a bit of like brain juice or something, like the part of a brain that takes out the skull and eats it. It's like, this is good for you. This has got like healing powers and stuff. Wild. See, this is getting on a bit of a tangent talking about like mythology and stuff now, because when it comes to like Hindu mythology, I only really know like most of like the religious stuff because that's kind of what I grew up with in my family. Because when it comes to like the dark side of Hinduism, of course there's like these evil characters in the stories and stuff, but I knew nothing about like the Agori sadhus and things like that. And then there must be like some kind of dark cult that worships Kali at some point, you know, the more kind of like evil and more, let's say, black metal side of
Mhm,
Hinduism as
mhm,
well. I remember seeing Attila, so he made an Instagram post, and he was in India for a little while, and he was saying that there was this special Kali temple, and I did some research on it, and it's apparently there, like they do certain rituals on people that cure them of like mental illnesses, like suicidal people go there to like be healed and stuff. And he said, like going there, seeing some of the rituals has been like some of the most black metal stuff he's seen, and no one's
yeah,
really allowed in there. You have to make like certain bookings and stuff. Like there's an actual website where it says like, okay, yeah, this is a booking. You have to like actually book yourself in to be like cleansed and stuff. And
yeah,
I'm just there thinking like, damn, what actually goes in there? Like, what is
yeah,
this? What is this extreme dark side of Hinduism that I don't even know about or even know what's going on? And I just think it's in some ways it's like a odd morbid curiosity. It's like I kind of want to find out, but it's like what's going to be the consequence if I see it if I'm not supposed to, kind of thing. And Hindu mythology has got its own kind of crazy, crazy creatures and stories, and yeah, lots of weird stuff around.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, definitely very interesting.
yeah. So here's another question as well. So a lot of religions around the world, and a lot of people theorize that an extraterrestrial life force came to Earth and like changed people, creating like chimeras and hybrid humans. Like, do you believe in that? Do you believe in aliens? And do you think there's extraterrestrial life out there, or is there some kind of life out there? What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's if you look at the infiniteness of space, I would find it quite odd if we would be the only ones, for sure. But I don't know if it's really that important. I don't know. Of course, it's definitely fascinating. Um, if the if you already had contact, I don't know, maybe. I mean, there are definitely very interesting artifacts around, like the plains of Nazca and stuff like that, so or like old depictions of what you would call like astronauts and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm totally into like these mystical things, stuff you can't really explain and how did that happen, where does it come from, etc. I think it's very fascinating. Doesn't mean that I have to go like hardcore into it, and oh yeah, it's so true and of course it is like that and focus my whole life on it. So I see it more like a something open, very interesting. Um, what fascinates me most about it is that it has a certain factor of possibility and plausibility. So it's definitely better than just pure science fiction, pure fantasy. So this could actually be real. So this is like the very fascinating part of it.
Yeah, because I agree with that as well. Because I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all, but I do question things. One of those is like Area 51, for example.
Mm.
They say that some aliens crashed there as well. The Nazca Lines is a really interesting one as
Yeah.
well. If you were to choose any company like to be endorsed by, like any guitar company or any musical company to be endorsed by, whether it be pedals, guitars, or any kind of equipment, which one would it be?
For me personally, I can't really speak for the others. None. I have my stuff. I don't really need anything else. Honestly, it's more like what would be interesting is to do like something new, come up with a new amp or effect or something like that. That would be interesting. I definitely would like to do that. Yeah. But other like from existing stuff, yeah, I don't know. I have what I need. I'm just more afraid that because these Zoom effect units are pretty old by now, that they will all break down at some point, you know. I'm
Hmm.
more afraid about that, and then I'm kind of a bit lost. Would have to come up with something
Hmm.
for my sound, my specific sound. So maybe I should work with Zoom Corporation for like re-emerging the old effects unit or something like that, make it better because it has some flaws that could have been done better in my opinion. But like overall, basic is is still awesome to this day, I
And
think.
and how many of those units do you have?
Um, Working units, I have here. I have four,
Okay,
and one at the band room. No, actually, I have five here. So I have six working units, and three are well, they have some issues. So I try to have them fixed, but I don't know if it is possible yet.
I see. Because that was going to be my question. Like, if you just had, like, I was hoping that you had more than one, just in case, because it's old gear, and in case it broke or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, at some point I
Absolutely
started
fine.
buying them up because yeah, it's pretty simple with through MIDI. Um, you can just copy all your settings to it, so it's a simple thing to do.
Hmm. Like, if there was a if there was a Tobias or Winter or Wroth signature Zoom preamp, I'll totally get one, and I'd use the crap out of that. Yeah, so Zoom, if you're listening to this interview right now, like you got to make it hit
Yeah.
him up, hit up Tobias. Let's make this pedal a real thing.
Yeah, one thing you asked me about like my influences musically, and
Yes,
I was a bit like, whoop. Yeah, sure, definitely like the typical 90s black metal, new wave of black metal stuff from Norway and Sweden, but it's quite much more actually. You know, it's also stuff like Klaus Schulze, definitely other psychedelic 70s stuff. Definitely a lot of dark ambient stuff from like the mid 90s to like beginning 2000s. That there was a lot of really interesting stuff like innate, like apoptose. I was talking about before. Also like really experimental stuff like Karl Runau or subliminal. That was all a huge influence. Um, Also stuff like I don't know if you know it, Devil Doll,
never heard of
a
him.
really obscure project back in like end of 80s, beginning of 90s from Slovenia, from Ljubljana. It's really interesting. You should really have a listen to this one. Because it's just so unique. You have never heard anything like that before. That's for sure. Very theatrical. Um, Lots of nice melodies, nice songs. Yeah. Um, what else? Yeah, also a lot of psychedelic trance music for Darkspace, definitely. I mean, the musical orientation when we started with Darkspace, like, okay, we will have like this space concept. Musically, what's our orientation? And yeah, definitely black metal, or extreme metal in general, but more like, yeah, atmospheric black metal, psychedelic stuff, and Goa, yeah, trance, psytrance. I actually wanted to make a mix between psytrance and black metal. So the trance part is not that much in it, like musically, but definitely from like just the ways songs are built, the ways melodies, synthesizer stuff, definitely a big influence as well. So it's quite broad actually. I also love Arvo Pärt. modern classical composer. Never
I've
heard of Arvo
no,
Pärt?
no, I haven't.
Okay, check it out.
No.
Some great stuff. And for Darkspace, I oriented myself also on the first Brutality album, Screams of Anguish, which is death metal, but it has just some. It's a real space album to me, just from the feeling, the sound and how that this album feels is also like the melodies and stuff. It has a really psychedelic character to it, in my perception. So I definitely took that one as a influence, like consciously. And for my vocals, I oriented myself. I was also trying, to find some kind like a uniqueness to the vocals, and I oriented myself on the first Coroner album, and also yeah, the Mysteries dom Satanas. So I wanted to have something in between there, or in this direction, to have like something alien sounding in what I imagine what's an alien would sound like. Yeah.
That's really interesting parallel that I didn't think about before, which was De Mysteriis, because I remember listening to that for the first time and I was like, these aren't black metal vocals, these are something completely different. It was kind of like a operatic dying demon or something. Just some crazy sound that Attila was creating, but I can kind of
Mhm.
see the parallels now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like it's more like going up and down. So I do that too. Not differently than Attila does. I don't want to copy anyone. It's
hmm.
just like, leaning towards like, okay, this direction is probably the correct direction to go. Let's try it. And Coroner also have that. He also has like this kind of up and down vocals. So
Hmm.
it's not just screams or just shouts. It has movement in it.
God, that's so interesting because that's something I was literally thinking about. The bands I'm listening to, like a lot more now, there's a lot more kind of like not only this in the music, but there's actually more going on with the vocals now as
Hmm.
well. Because I've just gotten into this thing now of like listening to like extreme metal bands that have like some kind of clean vocal.
Yeah.
Well, Neo Obliviscaris being one of them. And I recently started listening to Xanthocroid as well, which is they're quite interesting because it's almost like a Disney soundtrack becomes extreme metal, but without being like Disney and flowery.
Okay.
I mean, like it's interesting because it's not like it's okay. So it's still very kind of romantic, but it's not like cartoony, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
But the
Hmm.
music and the writing is so well done. Like you can tell, like they've definitely done their research into medieval harmony and
Hmm.
classical composition and really taken their time on the writing as well. And everyone's very, very talented in the band as well. It gets one-dimensional sometimes if a band's just a bit too kind of like, okay, yeah, this is the vocal. It's kind of like traditional, like this other band. Here's the riffs. It kind of like it's very stylistic to the genre. It's like I don't know, maybe I'm getting bored of listening to similar things and I want new things, and it's probably that. I don't know. Maybe I just want more things going on in a composition, or maybe I just want movement, journey,
Yeah.
more than
Yeah. Journey. That's a good word.
yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
Let's
Hmm.
more songs as opposed okay, I want to listen to songs, not a compilation of riffs.
Hmm.
That's that's the kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the kind of vibe.
It's if possible a whole album. That just yeah. I want to be taken by hand, and come with me, and I'll show you. Journey. Yeah.
Exactly,
That's
yeah. And
that's what I want. And if it's nothing new, that's fine too. If it's just great music, it's great music. If it sounds if it's like a Darkthrone cop, whatever. I don't care. If it's just like great music, if it takes me by my hand and takes me to someplace else and shows me something, then it's fine. But of course, it's much better if it's something new, something I haven't heard before.
exactly, yeah.
That's well, that's the perfect, perfect album then. But I don't know, it's not that much new music I listen to. It's also because I don't have much time, and if I listen to something, it's usually stuff I already have. So, yeah, I think the last band actually I have bought albums from is Altor, Swedish Viking,
Mhm.
very Bathory like stuff. But they have just such great songs, and they have the right mix between like sweetness and harshness. So they have like quite sweet songs, with like clean vocals, but they're like really really on a high level, really good vocals. And then they also have like more like black metal-ish songs, like quite harsh stuff. And yeah, that's a band I really admire. I remember I have listened to like their first album or so, and I was like, nah, that's not really my cup of tea. But they have gotten better from almost from album to album. It's not every album as good as the other, but Natram is really good. And
Mhm.
also the last one, what's it called?
Vargtiman, I don't know.
Yeah, Vargtimman.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, that one is some really nice songs to it too.
What do you think the black metal scene needs going forward in the rest of the 2020s? What do you think needs to change in black metal?
Ooh.
And what do you want to see more of in the black metal scene?
Um, well, I'm still waiting for more albums like, like the classics, something like another anthems. What's it called? The
Anthem.
anthems at Welkin at Dusk,
Yeah.
something like that, or like the first Limbonic Art album,
Hmm.
something that just really blows your mind. These are just examples, but something exciting. I'm missing that, but hey, maybe I just missed it because I didn't hear it yet. I can't listen to everything. What I think is very interesting with black metal is that you always have like new kind of streams to it that discover new things. So it's has always something new to it. You always have bands like trying out new things. Like Bluthaus Nord from France, or um, you also have like this Swedish stream like Head on Färd. I don't know if you have listened to that one before, which they use the guitar. They make black metal, but it's almost not distorted. It's only just like a little bit of distortion to the guitar. It's really interesting. It really sounds like directly coming out of the forest or something because of that. So it's a very interesting approach. And yeah, so you always have like something new, and that should definitely go on, like stay creative with it, explore the possibilities of black metal or like metal in general. Or for me, actually, it's the sound of distorted guitars. That was what fascinated me since childhood, since I was a little kid. When I first heard a distorted guitar, I was just, I was like enchanted forever. That was what it was all about for me. Not this specifically metal music. It's just that kind of music that happens to use distorted guitars. But maybe you could do a lot more with distorted guitars with that sound than metal, you know? So there's definitely more out there to explore, in my opinion. And I hope people are going to do that.